Hi, I'm Will, and today we're going to be doing an oil change for a 96 Buick Roadmaster. Before you begin, the things that you're going to want to have, you're going to want to have an oil drip pan, 2 jack stands, 2 wheel chucks, a funnel, wrenches, an oil filter, and oil. You're also going to want some sort of mechanism to raise the vehicle. I'm going to be using a jack. It's rated at 4,000 pounds, which should be fine just for raising the front end of this vehicle. So I'm going to start by putting the wheel chucks behind the rear tires, and you're also going to want to make sure that you have your emergency or parking brake on to make sure that the vehicle is safe to get under. So these wheel chucks right here, they just go under the back of the rear wheels, because I'll be raising the front of the vehicle, and this is just going to prevent the vehicle from rolling back. So the wheel chucks are in and the emergency brake is on. Now I'm going to jack the vehicle, and we're going to place the jack under the safety bar right here. So that's going to raise the front of the vehicle evenly. You never want to place the jack on the axles. Your axles will not be able to support the pressure that you're going to be creating from that. So always put it there, or on one or part of the safety bar. Never put it on the radiator. That is going to kill your radiator, and it's not going to be safe for you to get under either. So make sure that you're doing this right over here. So now that the jack is up, I've placed 2 jack stands underneath right over here, part of the safety mount. And the jack is still up. This is just a safety that if the vehicle should, if the jack's comparability is compromised or safety is compromised, then I'll still be okay. So now what you want to do is we're going to get underneath the car in a minute, and we're going to open up the oil pan to let out the old oil. But first, it helps if you open the oil entrance spot from the top near the engine. So you're going to open the hood. The lever is by your driver's seat, by your brake pedal. I've already pulled the lever, but I want to show you this. Some GM cars, the hood does not want to open. You just want to give it a good tap to the left of the center, or in this case, the left of the hood ornament. And it pops right open. And now we're just going to open the engine oil. On this one, the entire valve likes to come off, so when it comes time to drain the oil, I'll put that back on later. So this is the oil pan and the oil filter, so we're going to take out that bolt right there, and we're going to let it drip into this drain pan. I think I said this before, but before you do an oil change, you want to make sure your car is warm, not cold. That way, so all the oil that's dirty in your car can come out. You want as much of that out as possible. You don't need to have the car running for 5 hours or anything else. Your oil is going to be really hot. You just need it warmed up. This right here, this uses a 13mm bolt to get this off. So I'm going to use this wrench. I'm going to take it off. Voila! And right in the hole. Wonderful. So we're going to let that drain for a while, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get the oil filter, which is right there. So it's been about 15 minutes now. If I wanted it to, I could let that thing drip for forever. But it's probably safe enough now that we can add another 5 quarts of oil. So what I'm going to do now, though, is we're going to take off this oil filter that's right here, and we'll replace it with a new filter. So that hole right there, that's where we're going to be putting the new oil filter. The one I just took off was a Bosch Distance Plus, and the one I'm going to be putting on is a Wix XP. These are really good for full synthetic oils. which is what I'm using today. I'm putting in Royal Purple 5W30. That's a very nice oil. You don't have to get something that nice. I find that Pennzoil and Quaker State work really well in this car for full synthetic oils. Usually if I'm not putting a full synthetic oil, it's because I'm feeling poor, and I'll just get conventional Valvoline, which there's nothing wrong with. So we're going to go ahead and put this on. So what I've just done right here is on this new oil filter, I've put some oil on the rubber piece on the outside. You want to do this so it helps create a seal when you put it on the car. Otherwise, oil could leak out. So I just put the new oil filter on. I had to use both hands for that. Basically, you want to turn it as tight as you can, and then just ever so slightly loosen it, because when you start the car and everything afterward, it's going to heat up. And if you have it too tight, it's going to be on so tight that you can't get it off with your hand. And you should be able to get these things off with your hand. They make tools to help you get them off, but I find that given the location of this oil filter on this car, even with a tool, it's still really difficult to get it off. And I've never had any problems with leaks from the oil filter from doing that. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our pan plug back in. And doesn't want to go any tighter, so I'm not going to make it go any tighter. Let's go add the oil. So now the part we've all been waiting for, adding the oil. You want to do it a little bit slowly so it doesn't spill out all over the place. But here it goes. Royal Purple. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to close that up. I'm going to turn the car on for a bit, and then we're going to check the dipstick to make sure the oil is all at the proper level. Make sure that we have a good 5 quarts, or that it's at least in the operational range. So I let the car warm up and I just turned it off. I checked the dipstick, but just to show you guys, dipstick comes out, wipe it off, send it back in, and voila. Let's see if you guys can see that. So you want the oil to be in the checkered part on this dipstick. That's the area that marks operational range, and you don't want it to be over that. So right now I'm in it and I'm not over it, which is the perfect amount of oil that you're going to want. So one last thing, it's pretty important. Resetting your oil lights. So if you have an oil warning light coming on your dashboard up here and everything, what you need to do is very simple. You need to take your key, place it in the ignition, turn it halfway, press on the gas pedal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you turn off your car, and the next time you start it, it should be ready to go. And even if your oil light is not on, it's going to reset the counter inside your car. So your oil light won't come on until you're actually ready for the next oil change. So there you have it. Other than cleaning up from underneath the car and everything and making sure it doesn't leak, that's pretty much the oil change for this vehicle. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them.